My name is Cesnabmihilo Dorothy Nuhu-Aken'Ova. I'm a feminist, I'm an evangelist, I am a population development expert, developing, designing, managing projects at the community level on things that have to do with environment, with health, with political participation, and global economy, and all the components of development and human rights. The answer is no. The girl child is not getting the support, that she needs. Emphasis on need. We are not even talking about luxury. We are not talking about, frivolities. We are not even talking about recreation. We are talking about needs, basic needs, that have to do with let's say, opportunities that exist to self-determine, to set goals, and self-actualize. These opportunities are not fully present for the girl child as they are to her male counterparts. And this is because the system that we operate, which we call in the feminist environment patriarchy, is the culprit here, because it is the system that creates inequalities amongst genders and amongst persons, generally speaking, such that there is some preference in the way we groom our children. That means that if a family is blessed with girl children and they don't have a male child, they are likely to feel like they don't have any child at all. And where they have male children, even if it is one, a lot of attention is gone into it. There were instances where parents had to deal with who do we take away from school because of dwindling resources within the family, and where the girl child was actually performing better. She was withdrawn from school and the male was allowed to continue. Those instances still exist, and we are not battling these root causes well enough because of all the interests around, and so the girl child is still suffering till today. First of all, a girl child is born and she is like lower in status than the male children right there within the home. Most families, I'm saying most, because we've done quite some work, especially since the conferences that took place in Cairo in '94 and the Beijing conference in 1995. A lot has been done. But there are still families where the girl has lower status than her male siblings. That means that she's not going to get enough attention, she's not going to be given opportunities, she's going to be saddled with so much responsibility at the home level, such that she is not going to be able to access spaces that the male counterparts would ordinarily access. She's likely not to have life competency skills as she's being socialized, because there are opportunities where the male child is exposed to environments that help to groom the male child, give them those fine skills that they need to navigate life, and the girl is denied such opportunities. They include, for instance, opportunity to make friendship. Boys can make friends, boys can hang out with their friends, but in most homes in Nigeria, girls have limitations in making friends. They don't experience that freedom of association to the level to which the boys do. The boys are going to play football all evening. The girl is going to be stuck at home, with house chores, and so she's not going to have that opportunity to mix in that kind of football playing atmosphere, basket playing atmosphere that enable boys to develop those fine skills, and where they already have them, even sharpen them. So these are the challenges that girls do have. Even in schools, they are not likely to be given leadership positions, only those very rudimentary positions that girls can have because they are girls, like she's the head girl. you know, because she's supposed to help them control the girls, that kind of thing. So we have all of these challenges. Boys have recreation time, and they use their recreation time to develop themselves. And in the world of modern technology, most male children are growing up knowing how to use the laptop. They even own these gadgets, you know, but the girls are limited in having access to this. So the boys can go ahead and play games in their parlor with people who are living in America, for example. You know, they can continue to have WhatsApp friends, mingle in Facebook, and do whatever it is they want to do with those platforms. But the girl child is monitored at home. Every day we are hearing people calling on parents, monitor your girl child, or don't let them be on Facebook, or you must monitor who they are friends with, or, you know, there are opportunities in these social media platforms. So what I'm saying is that technology is out there. Girls are finding it difficult to have access to this technology. Girls are being hindered from maximizing the impact that the technology could have on them positively. Of course, there are risks, or there are pitfalls. I'm not, you know, ignorant about that. But there are pitfalls too for the boys. And when the boys are allowed to have this access, let the girls too have. And we're talking about artificial intelligence. And we know that the gap is huge. And that is why there are now some institutions that are financing women to get into schools where they can study artificial intelligence. And people are even giving very juicy scholarships for girls to do that, because they understand that girls are continually marginalized for those kind of spaces. And that means that when they are using that technology to provide response to some human needs and development issues, the gender, women, are not going to be factored in, because women will not be represented unless there is deliberate effort to sponsor girls to get educated in those fields. And there are institutions that are investing in there right now. Those are the challenges that are out there for the girl child that we need to look into. I'm a feminist. So what's my point of view on feminism? I'm a feminist. I'm a radical, unapologetic feminist. I am a feminist with no conditions attached, no ifs and no buts. Just the Puritanist feminist that everyone knows. That's who I am. Now we tell you what that means. It means that I have the capacity to do social, political, economic, cultural analysis. I have the capacity to identify in my analysis where there are injustices, inequalities. I have the capacity to develop intervention strategies to address those inequalities and injustices. That is what makes me a feminist, because I proffer solutions, you know, to issues of discrimination, of gender-based abuse and violence. And, you know, if there are things to do with environmental justice, you know, I can lend my voice there as well. Political participation, I'm there. You know, that's a feminist. I know that there is some kind of misconception of what a feminist is. People say that feminists are home breakers, but they are wrong. We mend homes. We do psychotherapy. We provide psychosocial counseling to enable relationships stay together and be mutually beneficial. What we don't like is where there is abuse in that relationship. But even then, we are not the ones to decide for whoever it is, to say, leave that man, or But we can give counseling to enlighten those involved to know that the relationship is toxic, the relationship is abusive. When they need help, we can give them the help according to the choices that they are making. You know, this feminism, people think it was imported, but it was not. The Aba Women's Riot, as they call it, which is the protest by Aba women on unreasonable tax imposition that was being done at the time, was a feminist-led response. If we look at all the things that Ransom Kuti, you know, the Fela's mother, all the things they did, those are feminist responses. The Amina of Zaza, the Gambo Sawaba, you know, we can name all of those names from the history, you know, of movements in Africa. So women have always been there organizing to redress instances of injustice. And if we look at all the global recent policy documents and consensus documents, conventions and treaties, women feminists have participated in setting the agenda so that we are sure that the documents that come out of those spaces are responsive to the real needs of people at the grassroots level. So you can look at the ICPD conference that took place in Cairo in '94, Beijing conference that took place in '95, and way back to, you know, the '80s, Vienna conference, you know, where decisions were made that to comport the fact that women's rights are human rights, you know, putting gender-based violence at the center table of nations as they plan for development. All these initiatives have been done by women, have been led by women. And back in Nigeria, feminists are not standing by and just looking. We are busy working all the time. When we see increased women participation in politics, it is feminists that are busy engineering all of these things and looking for resources to support women to make this a reality. Yeah, so I'm aspiring for 2023 presidential elections, and I tell you, it was a very recent thing. It just happened in August 2021. I have been mentoring youth for decades, mentoring youth to grow into responsible adults since when they are adolescents, by packaging intervention strategies and molding them, you know, to be that. And in 2015, we decided that the organization Increase, which I founded and I'm currently managing, had done 15 years grooming young people, and now it was time to see how we can scale up our work. Okay, they are very good, responsible adults, you know, they are contributing to society, but you know, when you look at it, like some of them graduate, they don't have jobs. Some of them, you know, have jobs but are not well paid, and they wish to start family, they cannot. Those who have kids, you know, how do they pay school fees? All of those things, the infrastructure, the security system is crippling their ability to put into maximum use the kind of capacity that we have built into them. And that is why we came up with the idea for civic responsibility and political participation for social change. And we did that training in batches for diverse sectors of youth, and they are the ones who had a meeting and decided that we should do something radical for 2023. And one of those things that they said we should do is field a presidential candidate. And when they looked around with their checklist, of course, that they had developed on who should be the flag bearer, they asked me to do it. So inside plenty battle, both within my spirit, within my space of work, with my family, and then generally speaking, the atmosphere in Nigeria, it was a strong battle, but I have accepted that I have what it takes to cause a turnaround in Nigeria. Right now, we are not canvassing for votes because INEC is, you know, has put a bag on that. But I can say that for Nigerians, the person we are going to look for is somebody who has a record of doing things for the betterment of the country and the Nigerian people. You know, I have worked all my life in the area of population and development, my adult life, and have contributed in capacity building here and there, working with youth. So I know what it means, you know, to work with young people. I know what it means to identify the needs of young people and how to go about. I understand how all of these issues interlink, you know, economy, politics, environment, health, human rights are all linked. All of us as a nation, we are interlinked. You know, the trouble is, how do we then harness our, you know, connections and put them into proper use so that it is fueling our advancement? Because we seem to be advancing, but if you check it, we are just running on the same spot, and that needs to change. You know, so if we are looking for leaders, we have to open our eyes and look for leaders who have expertise, who have experience, and who have demonstrated that they are capable of, you know, bringing a platform that can unite us and bringing strategies that can pull all of these components of our, you know, humanity together so that we can make progress and not run on the same spot. First, we have to look at the challenges, and if we look at Nigeria, honestly, security is a top challenge, you know, because it's like nothing else is working, because our security situation is deplorable, you know. So we need to fix that, and if we want women to fare well, then we need to fix the security challenges. These are most of the women who live in areas that have been directly hit, you know, have been the ones bearing the brunt. They are the ones who are picked for rape, for sex slaves, you know. If we remember the Chibok girls, you know, they are still not back, you see. So we need to do something, fix our security. They have, you know, always targeted schools and then picked girls, and we don't want that to continue. We know that access to resources and opportunities is very limited for girls and for women. So we want women to participate in public life, to participate in decision making at all levels. Then we need empowerment that is not lip service. We need empowerment that is not tokenism, you know, especially when we talk about politics. You check every party, you look at their structure, you will see that the only position women have is woman leader. And I keep asking, what is woman leader? You know, why can't women not be chairpersons of parties? Tell me today, honestly, the big parties in the country and even the small ones, if we can get women to chair these parties as chairpersons, Nigeria will go a long way. And if we can have women contest for elections, we will go a long way. But how do we contest for elections in an atmosphere where it is money driven? And we know that women, of course, we don't have control over these resources as a result of the patriarchal system that we have. Woman wants to own land. You can't own land though. It's for men. Women want to build house. You can't build house. So it's men that build house. So especially, if you buy a car, you won't get husband. Or if you are living in a rented apartment on your own, you can't get married. Or you have to say, in fact, this marriage can't itself. They always use it to pull women back from achieving. You know, I'm not saying women shouldn't be married, but it is not the only thing that defines who a woman is. A woman who is not married is capable of contributing to the society, and meaningfully so. So we shouldn't be, you know, wrapped around the marriage carrot as if that is the only thing that defines women. So these are some of the changes that we need to have. Education is very important. We are enrolling girls much more than we were before. But what is the quality of the education girls are getting right now? We need to upgrade, you know, so that girls can meet up with the current challenges. To Nigerians, together we can. There is nothing that anybody can achieve by themselves, you know, so we need to start moving to a situation where we know that we can only change this country if we work together. You know, I believe in this country. I believe in Nigeria. I believe that we can work as one nation together, but we need to have leadership that brings us to a rallying point where we see that we have equal stake in this country so that we can move this country ahead. And without women inclusion, without including other minority groups like persons with disabilities, we are not going to get far. Everybody counts. Everybody must be included. The voices that we have, oppressed and suppressed need to be heard so that we can make, progress as a country. And so one, way of summarizing it to Nigerians is together we can. We have to do it together.